I've been talking about doing this video for the longest time. It's so easy to put off, but I just decided to bite the bullet, and I'm making this video simply to help people. I'm now on the cusp of achieving everything that I ever wanted in my life. On my vision boards, on my goals list, or my long-term goals list. Things that I never thought I could ever accomplish, but I wrote it down. I'm a week or two away from doing those things. And as I kind of reflect upon life, I thought it would be a good, I guess, valuable video to go back to a lot of the areas that I grew up. Look, there's people that started with a lot less that have a lot more. I'm nothing special. But this video is going to help people in very similar circumstances that I was in. I'm very fortunate to be in the position I am now, and I hope this video can help people. I hope this video can help people that have a severe lack of confidence, a limiting belief system, just not really, they don't think that the good things in life are meant for them. For the first quarter century of my life, I felt like I was just existing. I was just surviving. I started to really get control of my mind and my life. I feel like this video is, look, at each moment in my life, I went to 8 different schools, I lived in 10 different houses, I had a very colourful upbringing, I had a lot of experiences that really shaped and moulded me for the worst, for the better. I want to go back and visit those places, those times, those experiences, go through the takeaway lessons that I learned to be able to help people. So I don't really know what's going to come from this video, but for some reason I've been pulled to do it. Something's telling me I need to do it, so here we are.
Good morning,
yeah, fuck
Australia.
this place.
Being the worst part of Sydney, and I agree that it definitely is. Playmore.
Never had friends over because it was embarrassing.
Playmore is 86% public housing. Think about that.
And well, I didn't really have friends anyway when I moved. I haven't been back to these places since I was a kid. I don't want to do this video to incriminate anybody. And this is not about me, you know, having a sob story or being a victim. But I am also very aware that not many people in these experiences make it out. I know a lot of people that are either in the exact same position, in jail, or no longer here. Yeah, look, I'm speaking to the younger me that needed guidance, and now I'm in a position to, you know, give that. I know that this can help. If this helps at least one person, it's worth the time, the energy, the effort. I'm shaken. Not nervous speaking on camera. This is it's a big one for me. This is you know, I don't even have anything scripted. I'm just going to go off the cuff, and yeah, we'll figure this out together, eh? All right, let's hit the road, eh? Well, to be honest with you, the whole point of this video, if I'm honest, is like everyone wants to create a really good life for themselves, right? Well, this is me shedding my skin. I've done that. I've got a great life. I've got everything I ever wanted. Now, the rest of my life will be about making an impact and helping other people. I've always done that, like obviously a PT, and I've always strived to do that, and I've always had a passion for helping people, but now I can solely do it. There's no ulterior motive, you know. There's no, like, I'm not going to be training people I shouldn't be training because I need the money or whatever. It's a different thing now. Now it's just about purpose. It's about doing the bigger things. So it's a cool place to be. I actually really don't know what the future holds at this point. Then all through it's Claymore up here, so it ain't too far away. This is actually kind of ringing a bell for me too. Just take a random detour, because I went to a random Catholic school, one of my 8 schools, and we were just passing it. I don't know if I would have came here because I actually thought that this was a good school. I learned a lot. This is something I've got to factor in. You got single mum, and she tried to put us through, you know, a good school, and I was here from probably year 2 till the end of year 6, end of year 5, start of year 6, And because I went to this school, when I moved up to Port Macquarie, I was in the gifted and talented class because the levels were just, you know, different. I was a very average student, but yeah, it's kind of cool. I don't want to make anybody look a certain way. I'm not, there's no victim mentality, there's nothing. People do their version of their best, and it is what it is, and life takes shape, and here we are. I don't think I'm going to connect with this first place that I lived. We lived in many different houses. It's kind of ringing a bell. It's kind of a little bit nostalgic, but we're 2 minutes away, and we'll see what it feels like when we get there. So I went to John Warby Public School. There's a juvenile detention centre literally 1 minute away from our house. So this is where we're going here. We had a neighbour, and they were bad neighbours, and I had a friend up here named Curtis. We were like 5 or something, and he was such a placid kid, but one day he just lost it and punched this girl in the nose, and there was blood all over that fence. I want to see if it's still there. It'll be very fun. I remember it a bit differently, but it was this house here. I remember there was no house there. There was all these like just planks of wood and that. I remember stepping on that barefoot when I was a kid and having a nail go straight through my foot. We'd just run around here. I think I'll show you the area where we were hanging around. Like, what, 5, 6-year-old kid, who cares? Just wanted to see if I come back and anything kind of triggered. I remember stuff, but meh. There's a lot of shit people. I remember, like, we used to play tips in this street. We took our shoes off to play tips, and then kids just stole our shoes, and the parents had already started washing them and taking the laces out, and they were like, oh, they're our shoes. Anyway, we're getting ripped off by adults for our shoes and stuff. You weren't allowed to have too much around here. We get taken off. Said I was 5 or 6 and my sister was a bit older. See that kid? He's like, look at this car, how sick is that? Look, honestly, I know I'm showing some downtrodden areas. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm better than this. Is where I grew up. When you grow up in these areas, you don't think about anything beyond the day, survival, existing, the next, you know, I guess short-term pleasure. There's no vision, there's no ambition, there's no goals, there's no long-term gratification. It's just all impulse. You don't always have to leave either. Like this house, this area is actually not too bad because where we grew up, but look, there's got a new estate. That's actually, man, I suppose if you stay anywhere long enough, who knows what's gonna happen. There's gotta be a reason why I felt compelled to do this. There was a new estate built. This is Blair Mount. There was Blair Athol, I think it was called, or whatever. It got built when I was here, but all that happened was there was a lot of nice houses that got broken into all the time. My uncle had a nice house at Glen Alpine or something like that, and they got robbed a few times. They got broken into all the time because people were just like, all right, well, we live here, we just walking distance. These people have got money. Got the 2 559 spray painted. Didn't have the worst time in Claymore, you know. You could get up to no good, but I knew how to talk to people. I knew how to navigate my way. When you're not big and strong and don't have a lot of friends, you learn how to communicate very quickly. I feel like that's one of my biggest skill sets, is moving to so many different areas and talking to people from so many different walks of life. I know how to communicate to everyone. Down here, in Claymore, Eagle Vale, there's a lot of islanders. So I learned how to talk to islanders. You know, I was just a barlungi. It was just a white boy. But I knew how to make them laugh. and not get my head smashed in. So you see that alleyway, they've actually knocked those houses down. That alleyway up there, that's the connection from Claymore to Eagle Vale. So I used to go up there all the time. Oh, this is the house that we lived in right here. Many interesting things have happened in that house. Oh, she said, "What are you looking at?" You see that? There was a fight at this school every single day. There was a spoke taken out of this fence right here. So in this back corner of this fence, right here, like, I was always a good kid. I always wanted to do the right thing. But there was a spoke taken out of that fence right there. And what I used to do was I used to sign in a roll call, because there was only one roll call for the day. They didn't have a roll call for each class. And I would sign in, and then I would jump through the fence and go home, and then I'll come back at lunchtime, play soccer, jump out the fence, go home. And I did that for a long time. The teachers came to our house sometimes and tried to get me back in there. I hated them for that, but I think they thought that I actually had some potential and they were trying to keep me on the right track. But I actually started to turn into a bad kid at this school, and the main reason being was I got some good marks. I got good marks at this school, and then you would see the teacher would read out, you know, who got a good mark, and then everyone would just turn around and look at you, and you know you had hell to pay, and you just get fucked with for a while. So I actually didn't want to get good marks. I didn't want to stand out for the right reasons, and then I started actually getting a few laughs in school from, you know, being disrespectful to the teachers and rebelling and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy to me. So much happened up here. Like, this is all sectioned off, but this road used to go into a whole bunch of housing, and a lot of what I wanted to talk about was up there. Not incriminate anyone or do anything, but it's gone. I mean, good riddance. But yeah, I'll show you the alleyway that would connect the house to Claymore. Do you remember when you were a kid and you would like be scared of the dark? So you'd you know, you'd turn the light off in the bathroom and you'd sprint to the bedroom. That's what I used to do up this alleyway. If it ever started to get too dark, put the running shoes on and I'd piss bolt down this alleyway. There was always some shady characters. But I told you, the kid that I used to be a bad influence lived right there. And we'd be getting into Claymore. It's a shame, actually. One of the bigger reasons I came down here. Again, you've seen pictures of me. I was a very skinny, timid kid. Never wanted to fight. I never wanted to get involved in anything really. Just wanted to live my life. Anyway, this kid, or these two kids, they came into my house and they kind of locked me in my cupboard and that, and all of a sudden some things went missing. Everyone was at school saying, this person, I'm not going to say his name, he stole your phone, he stole your phone. And I felt obliged to get it back. You can't get punked around here, otherwise people won't leave you alone. Anyway, that guy ended up stabbing his dad in the head and killing him. I think he stabbed his brother too. He lived just here. There was houses just here. This is crazy. Random kids used to come into this house. We just put on boxing gloves and box, but no one knew how to box. You just put on gloves and fight. Right there. It looks so much smaller now that there's no houses as well. I've seen people walking up, actually. having sex right in that alleyway, right there. You know, it's only a little kid. Like, what the hell's going on here? Obviously, you don't acknowledge it. You never acknowledge anything. You just keep it moving. You never say anything. Hi, bye. Get on with it. That's what you learn. You learn to keep your head down and get on with it. Who were some of the most well-known people around here? They were the toughest people, the best fighters. So I mean, what does that fucking matter? Like, no one cares about, you know, anyone's business sense, what they've contributed to society. Is like, who's the best fighter, who's got the best name. That's who you knew. That's what they value. That's the whole thing. It's different value systems. That's what it is. And you grow up in these areas and you get told to value the same things, and then you value just toughness. Everyone knows who the toughest person is around here, I guarantee it. You know, I remember there was a guy up there, his name was Dwayne. We thought he was the coolest, you know. Seen him get hit in the head with a baseball bat, and it did nothing to him. He still pulled the guy through his front, you know, front screen door. Just those things, those stories kind of echo, like that's the cool stuff. You know, no one that's actually doing anything big or contributing to society in any way, or working on their business or their finances, or changing their family's position. You know, it's a different value system, and that's why you can get trapped here. You know, I didn't have any you know, powerful thoughts that projected me forward. It was just literally about surviving and getting to the next day. It was about fitting in. All I wanted to do was not stand out. I wanted to fit in so I didn't get my head kicked in. That's it. That's what life was. I was scared to be in the street. I was even more scared to be at home. Life was just that's what it was. Every day, just, it's probably why my anxiety is so severe now. Like, things could be good and my chest is just tight all the time, because I always had something to look out for. I always had to look over my shoulder. I always had to be perspicacious. You had to look ahead and anticipate things coming up. It's just survival. You learn survival skills. And now I've actually been able to translate that into business, and it's one of my biggest skill sets. It's about learning to communicate with people from all walks of life, and again, that ability to not rock the boat has served me well. So I guess there's always positives that come from every situation. So that's one of the best takeaways. And I'm grateful. Like, I'm grateful for growing up this way. It's taught me, not only has it taught me so many great skill sets, like I just explained, but also a level of gratitude that you can't be given, you can't buy. It's just, if I have a life of fear and no self-confidence, no self-belief, no self-love, and no money, no items, nothing, if that's my baseline, then anything on top of that, so my life now is really amazing. And this is what I wanted for me. I wanted to get out of this as well, to just help me find that deeper level of gratitude as I go into the next phase of my life. So yeah, very cool. Knew at school that they were gonna come and take my money. It was a given, right? Or even if they didn't get to you before you went to the canteen, you would they would, oh Solly, can I have a bite of your chicken burger? And then they'd just take the chicken burger or whatever, you know. It happened all the time. So I just thought, look, they're gonna do it anyway. So I went up to them and said, hey bro, do you want me to buy you a chicken burger? And they were like, oh yeah, of course. So they line up, you buy it to them, or buy it for them, sorry, shake their hand. I only had to buy one of, his name was David, I only had to buy David one chicken burger. That was it. They left me alone after that. It was all high fives and hugs and shit. They even stood up from me a few times when people wanted to bash me. So catch more flies with honey. Everyone that grows up in these areas, they don't want to talk about, you know, their drillings and their fucking urching and all that kind of stuff. Unless you're part of their crew, you ain't part of the area. They're urching off of you. They're stealing off of you, right? There's not a lot of people, unless you know, in a gang or in that crew or whatever, I want to make this video for the kids that just want to live a normal life but still have to live in those areas. You know, I was scared all the time. I was always scared. I didn't want to fight, you know. Getting rolled and stuff, man, it was tough. I was the guy getting rolled. I was the guy getting, you know, threatened and pulled in all these different directions. You know, I didn't, and it's probably now why I don't value stuff, because I never had it, and if I did, I didn't want it because it was just going to get taken off me anyway. Like, I remember when I was 10, I really wanted a Game Boy and I wanted Pokemon, because every kid at school had it. So my birthday's on Christmas Day, so everyone pulled together and got me a Game Boy with Pokemon. Loved it. Probably 2 or 3 weeks later, I got rolled for it by some junkie and some adult. That's it. Looks like people are home. It's crazy seeing that house. I'm gonna take a photo myself. Just a little 2-bedroom, little shack. The worst memories in that fucking house. That house was a piece of shit. I was 14, I shared a room with my mum when my sister came back with her boyfriend. That was a low time. I didn't have anything. In the middle of nowhere, there's no internet, there's no social media, I didn't have friends. I didn't have things to play with. I did have an Xbox, but mice chewed through the cords. There were that many mice in that house.
No, this is an ex-rental and this is how they've left it.
Yeah, okay. I grew up in one of the houses I grew up in.
Oh, really?
Like, I'm kind of reflecting back now.
That's strange, eh?
Nah.
Yeah,
You mind if we have a look through?
Go in, bro.
Yeah.
Just watch his nose, eh?
Watch.
Bit on the nose.
Oh, yeah, okay. We'll check it out. We would actually be able to go into it. This room, Mum's bed was there, my bed was here. This was actually kind of closed off. Yeah, wow. Look at this fucking place. So, I'll show you a room here. This is actually crazy for me, man. I remember walking up here and having a room here. Check this out. Being back here just makes me remember of, like, I never had friends over because I was embarrassed, you know. And well, I didn't really have friends anyway when I moved from, because that was my 6th school, or I don't know, so it was hard to make friends in that. But I just remember not having anything. I had a little bedside drawer with everything that I owned in it when I had to stay in this room. So I remember I'd get lunch money sometimes and I wouldn't eat for weeks on end to afford to get a harmonica, because it was something I could afford. I was writing music and that's what I had. My sister will laugh at this. She was in my room and pretended to spit in my harmonica, which was all I had. And I beat her up, and that was the last time we ever fought, so. 127-1, and I got that one, and that was it. They had these windows, I remember still, and they never properly closed. So mosquitoes would always come through, so you'd always get bitten by mosquitoes. And this was my space, because that's where Mum's bed was. To think that I've come from this to where I am now, it's man, this actually, it's hitting me, eh? It's hitting me. Look at this fucking place. Say, I started to get a bit older now, and I wasn't just living on autopilot. I actually was starting to think a lot, and this was where it started to hit me. This was a bad time. One of the badder times, you know, when I started having bad thoughts. 6 schools, not fitting in, no friends, nothing, you know, no items, no support, no, like just nothing, in a world of nothingness with no possibilities, you know. And now it's like everyone's got access to the internet and resources and stuff like that. No internet for me, nothing. Saving up, you know, lunch money to buy a harmonica because it was something to do because my dad was a musician. Yeah. In this house, this was the first time that I thought of bad stuff, you know. It's not good. Man, I remember there were that many mice that they wouldn't even scatter when you turn the light on and you know, they're easily coming. I feel like crying a little bit, but like, because the chances of me having the life that I keep talking about, the life what is the life I have now? The life is not just the car. I'm married to my person. We've been together for 8 years, married for 4. Like, I've got the partner I want. You know what I mean? I've got the physique I want. I've got the career I want. I've got the people around me. All the little things, anything that you think you could want in life, I've got. And just felt a coldness in that house. It felt cold. I could feel a chill in my spine. And to go back there, I could actually remember how I felt, the lowest of low. And the funny thing is, if I had have killed myself back then, I wouldn't be making this video now. I wouldn't have helped as many people as I've helped, you know, through my personal training and whatever. And there's PTs out there, sure, but I try to go above and beyond for people, like I'm doing with this video. I try to use the takeaways and lessons that I've learned in life to help people not have to go through the hardships that it takes to learn those lessons. I haven't been public with this information, but I will show you at the end of the video. I've got something else in my life that's happening that I haven't been public with, and I will share it at the end of this video. You know what, I'll talk about it, whatever. I'll show you my beautiful wife, and she's 38 weeks pregnant with my firstborn, my first child, my daughter, and I can't wait. And I feel like I'm shedding my skin. I feel like reflecting on this while I'm 1 or 2 weeks away from achieving all the goals that I ever set in my life, and 1 or 2 weeks away from having my daughter, for it to culminate into a moment like this, it's kind of poetic. I'm so glad I'm making this video because I want to remember this for the rest of my life. And if there's one video that you watch of mine, I want it to be this one. Obviously my mum and my dad, you know, when they were separated, this is where my dad and his family were. Not related to
Jose?
Absolutely, I'm his nephew.
You are his nephew,
Yeah.
yeah. Pardo?
Pardo.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you are. That's
Awesome
how
to
you
see
been,
you,
mate.
man. Look,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of,
Who's your dad?
Danny.
Older brother, Danny.
Danny.
That's right, Danny. How
Yeah.
is Danny, man? I
Yeah.
haven't seen him for years.
I don't live here anymore.
Oh, okay,
I'm kind
yeah.
of just going through and I
Oh.
moved around a lot and just
Oh.
kind of remembering some old
Yeah, I
places.
grew up with you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I used to come here.
Yeah. That's Effie. That's Effie.
It's Effie, you see,
Yeah,
did
yeah.
that now, you still got it, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
crazy.
Not for long. Another 3 months we're at.
Another 3 months?
Yeah, we're at.
Wow,
What are you doing?
Honestly, like so we moved around a lot. I'm kind of just coming back to my old areas. I don't live here
Okay.
anymore. I live
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the Central Coast.
Oh, okay. Right.
And you know, I've got a lot of people that I've kind of connected with, and just
Just
doing a
taking
little bit of a documentary a little bit. You know?
Oh,
I'm not trying to say act like I'm a big deal or anything, but
yeah, it's not- yeah, oh, whatever.
well,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, good on you.
people
That's
have
great,
asked,
man.
you know, certain things that I want to show them.
No, great, awesome.
But yeah, I was just saying, like, I used to walk like in Parsons Street, to walk up, get exercise books, get a bacon egg roll and stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Here, like, I'm gonna remember me.
Yeah, it's already sold. It's already sold. I usually have my brother here, but he's gone overseas. He's in Italy. So
Yeah. Now, like, I never come back here. I want to just come back and remember it, you know.
Yeah, that's what the boys should have done. That's what Hose should have done. Yeah, but he loves his apple.
Let's call this part 2, but it all kind of rolls into one. But as we get into the new phase of this video, I have prepared a statement because I feel like it's very important to speak on these things very clearly. Now, as I kind of move on from that chapter, I want to touch on these points very clearly. I'd like to state that I completely understand that people have started with less and have achieved more. I by no means think that I'm special. I by no means think that I'm a victim or I've been very hard done by. I'm just showing you my life's journey and how I've got from where I was to where I am now. I feel like a lot of videos don't speak about the personal growth or the paradigm shifts in people. It's generally just a rags to riches story, and people can generally be the same people. There's not much growth, but they've just achieved something and got to that goal. That's not the purpose of this video. This video is to help people from all walks of life, motivate, inspire people from any circumstance that may feel like they don't have control of their life. And if you've watched it up to this point, I hope that's what you're getting from this video. Okay. Now, that video was just a glimpse into my upbringing. I don't feel like I want to talk about inside the household too much. I don't think it's my place to speak about private matters. I also don't think it's fair for me to shape people's perceptions, legacies. This is just my perspective, okay? I do believe once you pass a certain age of adulthood, your life is solely your responsibility. I have a saying, I'm responsible for what I do, what I don't do, and how I respond to what is done to me. When I say that, despite if things are working for me or against me, all the power is in my hands. And that's what I love. I take extreme ownership for my life. And with that, I can solve any problem. So yeah, I take extreme ownership. Now, I feel like it's also very important to talk about like my parents or anyone's parents. They did their best, or they've done their version of their best. They're human beings, just living life, figuring life out as they go as well. It's important to learn either from them, or some of the best lessons you could learn is what not to do. And that's parenting in itself. So it all comes down to you. It comes down to your perspective, and it comes down to your outlook. So many people are shackled and bounded by their upbringing and resentment towards their parents, and it just cripples you in the end. You're responsible for your life. So I'd also like to say that, you know, with the colourful upbringing that I had, I have a good relationship with my mum and my dad. And yeah, it's just part of the story. That's, you know, the other men that came into my life after my mum and dad separated, whatever, I harbour no resentment or ill will towards. I just know that I would have done things differently. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, such personal matters, because of the purpose of this video. And times where I felt at my absolute lowest and felt like I didn't really want to be here anymore, I
remembered that kind of why, and I really feel like I'm here to help people. And being open about your struggles and story can help people. So for that reason, it's important for me to get personal. And inside the household, I would say, like, I was scared to, like I said when I was in, shaking a bit, when I said I was in Claymore, kind of scared to leave the house. I was even more scared to be home sometimes, you know. Felt very like alone and scared, and you know, a large portion of my life I just felt like I was existing day to day. Life wasn't happening for me, it was happening to me, and I was just getting pushed and pulled in any direction, like a rubbish in the wind, and get blown wherever. As I kind of started to reach the teenage years and adulthood, I lacked a lot of, you know, social skills, life skills, belief, confidence, and any forethought, you know, just day to day. I didn't have ambition. I didn't feel like the better things in life were meant for me. And, you know, here is the next chapter. If you feel that way, what did I do to get from that place to where I am now? Like, that's the purpose of this video. I do feel like, you know, I've processed things a lot and never harbored any resentment, ill will towards anyone. I feel like I've had a good life considering I've overcome a lot of my own kind of barriers, and, you know, it feels really good. But, you know, the only thing that's probably lacking is I do, you know, have pretty bad anxiety, and that was just because I always had something to worry about, never knew what was coming next, and I'm still working with that now, but now I kind of use it as a superpower, to be honest with you. I can forecast things before they go wrong, and I handle it like that, so it never has an opportunity to snowball into something bigger. And that's why I say it's one of my superpowers, because I've got a pretty good life. As soon as a problem comes up, I extinguish it right away, which is pretty cool. I do also want to say that, you know, as a young man, one of the best gifts I was ever given was a hard life, a hard upbringing, things to overcome. The lessons that I've learned just to have what everyone else has set a really solid foundation for me to keep growing and keep building an amazing life. So if you've ever had a, you know, tough upbringing, they say don't say why me, say try me. You use those lessons, overcome them, and you know, it's a blessing in disguise. I really do believe that the quality of your life comes down to two things, and this is what I've learned lately. One, your stress tolerance. If you're able to handle stress and handle things that would crumble most people and just take it in your stride and keep going, that's the most important thing, because your state won't be as affected as someone who's absolutely crumbled by something through stress. I feel like it's a very, very important component for life, especially in business. Things are always happening. And number two is your ability to have uncomfortable conversations. Everyone in your life that you love and care about is going to hurt you at some point. They're going to overstep boundaries. They're just living their life too. If you can communicate and problem solve while still keeping the relationship intact, you'll have a good life. So many people ruin relationships, ruin job opportunities, careers, because they don't want to have that uncomfortable conversation. So just learn that communication is key. We're living in a world of people, and I think that's important. So I'm shaking a little bit, like it's hard to talk about, you know, like, okay? But look, that's my message. This is a video of power. It just got me in that state, you know, kind of remembered what I felt like. But perfect segue into part 2 of this video, which is gaining control of your life. Before I had none, Now I've got all of it. How did we do it? So let's take it back. Now the best thing that we ever did, that my mum ever did, single mother, took us from Western Sydney up to the Central Coast. This is, so this is where life started to get better for me. I moved up when I was 15. We're gonna go shoot some video now of some of the places and talk about it there. But I suppose let's get into it, eh? Right, I'm gonna rattle this off quickly. It's not that interesting, but it's important to segue. So I moved up to the Central Coast when I was 15, and you know, it was great. You could walk around and not be afraid. I could go to school and not get bullied, so I started to apply myself a bit more, and you know, it was really good. So obviously I went to 8 different schools. I finished my schooling off at the entrance, and again, it was really cool. I started to apply myself a bit more. I started to just start to come out of my shell, because I was allowed to, you know, have a bit of a personality, have a joke, do certain things. It was really good. But obviously, what was the turning point? The best thing I ever did was join the gym. Now my story is well documented. 17 years old, 49 kilos, and all I wanted to do was not be skinny anymore and have a bit of confidence, and the rest is history. You've seen my story. If you haven't, check out probably the video I'll make next, or the videos I've made in my previous, you know, videos on this page. But it's not hard to find. I'm not going to go too much into that, but the best thing I ever did was join the gym, because it was the first time in my life that I felt like I'm doing something for me. I'm doing something progressive and positive, and something I can apply myself and sink my teeth into, and start making progress. And all the lessons that you learn from the gym, you know, discipline, because like I would finish school and I'd walk from the entrance high, which is at Batto Bay, to the entrance, train, catch a bus, and then go home. And so I'd catch 6 buses every day. School would be, you know, 6 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. because I lived in a different area at the time. But that was the first time I really started applying myself, seeing changes, started to gain a bit of confidence, started helping people from that, because people asked me how I did it. The rest is history, okay? Well, I'm saying the rest is history, but there's a lot more to it, because that's the gym side of things, the little bit of confidence. You forecast forward and you can see where I am, but we still had the aspect of, I grew up in low income areas and I had a low income mindset. So my first job, when I finished school, didn't get an ATAR, didn't want to go to uni, didn't even really apply myself in HSC. Like, I think I was the first one in my family to finish Year 12. I'm sitting there drawing FIFA fantasy teams in the HSC. Like, I didn't really care, didn't apply myself. My sister knew someone, got me a job at the base warehouse at the entrance for a summer gig, and then lost that. And then I was on Centrelink for a long time, and then just by hanging around Centrelink, went to the entrance Fruit World. And the guy who owned that, he thought he was Gordon Ramsay. He was a Gronk. Say Gronk in a documentary. He just talked to me like he was Gordon Ramsay. Like, I worked there for 3 months, 16-hour days. Said he was going to pay me. Oh, pay you. You owe me 3 or 4 grand. Gave me $600, and I was just like, I ain't coming back here. So had a bad journey with that. Back on Centrelink, got a job through JobFind making Christmas hampers at MacArthur Baskets. Shout out to Mark and Amanda. That was actually a fun job. Doing, 16-hour days there as well. But they paid me, so thank you for that. But that was a seasonal job, and then back on Centrelink. While I was on Centrelink, looking for jobs, all right, I seen a clipping in there, which I've kept. I'm gonna find right now, but I've kept it, of a Cert 3 in fitness. Cert 3 and 4. and a lightning bolt went through my body. And I'm not trying to sound dramatic. It really jolted me. I was like, I want to do this. I'd worked enough in shit kicker jobs where I just knew that I wanted to do something a little bit more. So I started working on the Cert 3 and 4 in fitness. Because of my bad work ethic at the time, courses that should have taken 3 months took me the whole 2 years. In that time, I worked at telemarketing until JobFind gave me an opportunity to work in a gym. I wasn't a PT, I was working behind the desk. But the gym that I started at was called Body Beat Fitness Center in Budgewoi. And we're still PTing out of there today. It's just got a different name. But yeah, 12 years ago. So we can check that out too. And then I don't want to go too much into that. I'm not going to talk too much about the PT side of things. I'm going to do a video completely separate about that whole journey, because trust me, it's more in depth than this. I'm just touching on this. But again, how did I get from a place where I grew up in a low income area, clearly had a low income mindset? What was the shift? Number one was joining the gym. Been training for 16 years. It's been the foundation for my life. I've always had the gym. I've always been able to train no matter what's going wrong in my life. And it taught me all the foundational skills that I needed to, develop who I am. Number two was personal development. I had a personal trainer named Dan Saul in the first gym that I ever signed up to. He became a mentor. And we started doing a network marketing business. And what do you call them? The leaders of, that pyramid, if you wouldn't say a pyramid, but whatever. Rob and Christine Nagato Needleman, they were really good. And they told me to read a book. And it was called Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. And I remember reading this book, and there were so many takeaways in this book. And it was like, it really started to make me feel like I had control of my life. Like some of the takeaways, I was writing them down. I couldn't sleep. I was waking up at 4 a.m. just engrossed into this book, like just soaking it all in. I was hooked from that point, because I felt like didn't matter who you were or what circumstances you had control of your life and you could do whatever you wanted. Once I started embedding that belief and coupling that with the discipline and hard work ethic that I had in the gym, that's when I started to take off. So we're going to go check it out. We're going to check out, when we moved up the coast, the schools, the jobs, all that kind of stuff, show you some of the area. It's not as exciting as down West Sydney, but it's still, I want to show you the complete trajectory from start to finish. So let's go.
Homies that's watching TV, I see bitch, punch you with a trick in a hoe. Boy, get your ass up. People use your brain to get.
We're up the Central Coast now, and I'm gonna go to the first place that we lived at when we moved up here. It's really it's cool. Like, it was just a little villa in Cresthaven, but wow, it felt really good to have a brick and tile building, no mice, own room, bit of privacy. You really, put things in perspective. You can take so much for granted. I had my own bedroom and I loved it. Closing the door, closing the world out. So good. Finished year 12 here at the entrance of Tuggerah Lakes Secondary College, the entrance high. Good school. And yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day though, I still had a hard time fitting in. Going to 8 different schools, I didn't have like a lot of friends. I just didn't see the point. I didn't value friendships because I had to make so many friends and leave them behind all the time. I did learn how to talk to people, but it was more for survival. I just didn't really value friendships that much. I had a friend, Lawrence, we played soccer together, and it was good. Again, getting to come up here and play soccer. I didn't get to play soccer for 15 years. Why am I saying soccer? Football. It's football, all right? Everyone up here says soccer in Australia. It's football. I didn't get the chance to play football. And again, like, life just got better. I don't know what to say. It's very cool. So we are pulling up on the first house that I lived in when I moved up the Central Coast. Well, it was a villa, but yeah, I always give my mum credit. Single mother, brought us from Western Sydney up to the Central Coast. It was the best thing that she could have ever done, and it just felt really good, even though it was a, you know, villa, to have a brick and tile building with my own bedroom that I could close the door and just block the world out, have a bit of privacy. That's the one. Villa. So yeah, pretty cool. Like I said, it's only little, but I liked it. Safe, cozy, good. Okay, now I'm gonna throw a spanner in the works. Since this video is about helping people, I'm going to talk about the most uncomfortable thing for me to talk about, and also the absolute lowest point in my life. So, as you would know, what I just spoke about before, I finished school, 17, you know, low-income area growing up, didn't really have any confidence, I was underweight, I was skinny and all that kind of stuff, so I didn't talk to girls until a lot later. Like, I didn't really even start kind of messaging girls and stuff until I was in my 20s, to be honest with you. And again, this is something that's very important to talk about, because a lot of guys are in a similar boat but just don't want to, you know, it's hard to talk about. It really hits the confidence. So this led me to be very susceptible to, if you know the term catfish, it's basically, you know, on social media, which I wasn't really on and know how to kind of use and navigate my way through. People could make fake profiles, pretend to be someone they weren't, and you know, go from there. Look, I got catfished pretty hard, you know, from the time I was about 21 till 24, so it was like 3 years of my life. And that was tough, because by that time I'd gotten into decent shape and I was actually getting some attention from girls, but I was loyal to this person because for the first time in my life, somebody was making me feel good about myself, giving me confidence, giving me compliments, making me feel, you know, saying I was, you know, good looking and you know, they love me and all that kind of stuff. And it sounds very silly now, but it's part of the story. So where are we going now? We are going to Shelley Beach. Why? Look, you know the journey up till this point. When that happened to me, I didn't think that somebody would go to those extremes, that level of energy, of time, of... I didn't think someone would manipulate me to that point. Even still, I just felt like, why would someone go out of their way to make me feel good just to, you know, just to break me down? When I found out, which I was probably gullible and, you know, delusional in the fact that, you know, halfway through I probably had suspicions, but I just couldn't shake it, you know. When that ended, when I had the suspicions that somebody was kind of, you know, lying to me about who they were
and everything they said to me wasn't real, this is where I came, right here. And I'd had enough. I'd had enough. I tried. I always maintained that I was a good person. I always wanted to this is where I came when I had enough. My stomach was in knots all the time. I already talked about having anxiety. The fact that I'd been through all of that and I thought I found someone who actually cared about me, and it turned out not to be true. And I also didn't really see a bright future for myself as well. This is where I came. And we don't really need to get out, but I sat in the car just a few bays up, and then I sat on the beach over there. And I thought, I've had enough. How am I gonna do this? I didn't want to kill myself, but I didn't want to be alive anymore. So I'm thinking, what's the best way to do it? What's the most painless way to do it? What's the way that would be less traumatic for the people that are in my life? Even though I didn't feel like I had a lot of people at that time, I still never wanted to burden anyone, but I just didn't want to be here anymore. I'm including this in the video because it's very important. This video is not just a journey, it's a paradigm shift. It's a complete, it's about the personal growth. It's not about places and money and certain things are happening. It's about who I was and who I am now. This moment shaped me, because when I had that thought, something else came into my head. So I had a thought. You're willing to throw everything away right now, so why not give it one last crack? Leave no stone left unturned. Why don't you just take all the chances that you need to take? Because right then, I was still afraid. I was still afraid to talk to girls. I was still afraid to take chances. I was still shackled by my own limiting belief system. I was still confined. That moment freed me. I was willing to leave this earth, so I thought, roll the dice. Take chances that you wouldn't take, because worst case scenario, you're right back here. So why don't you just empty the tank? And with that, I just got a bit of excitement. I'm like, okay, all right. So I started to make a pie chart of life, all the areas of life that I wanted to improve. And I took chances to improve all those aspects from that point. So that was about 2014. I think that was in 2014. I was 24. 2015 was one of the best years of my life. So, a quick summary on such an important topic. I may talk about this further. In fact, I have made a video. I made a video many years ago, about 8 years ago, and I called it Rock Bottom, and I haven't put it out yet, and where I talk about it a little bit more in depth. But again, for the sake of this video, we'll keep it rolling. So if my purpose is to help everyone, then what is the most valuable takeaway to take from this? It's this. It's dangerous to play it safe. We're all gonna die anyway. Nothing good happens inside your comfort zone. You gotta take chances. Life's dangerous anyway. But what I found is nobody regrets the chances that they took. They always regret the chances they didn't take. So that's the best takeaway from this. Here we are pulling into what used to be 4-in-1 Fitness, is now Anytime Fitness at Diggers at the entrance. Best thing I ever did was sign up to the gym. Again, all I wanted was to put on a bit of weight so I didn't stand out for being too skinny. That was it. Sick of getting picked on and laughed at and whatever. Just wanted to fill out my clothes a little bit more. That was it. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to fit in a little bit better. The lesson is, just start. I was just sick of getting picked on. I was sick of feeling skinny, not wearing certain clothes, not having any confidence. I just wanted to fit in a little bit better. That was it. That was really it. I didn't have big outlandish goals. I mean, everyone wants a great physique, but I just wanted to put on a little bit of weight. That was it. So we're at the entrance. My first job, we're walking up to the base warehouse. $11 an hour. Yo, yo. All I thought I could have. It's cool to get paid for work. That was cool. Have your own money. Yeah, that was mad. So when this job came up, I felt very privileged. And here we are, base warehouse. What? It's not called that anymore, so I guess there's that. Sweet. Now we're walking to a place that would make up a significant part of my late teens to early 20s. And this is obviously, no one's ever proud of this, and this is a very embarrassing part of my life and my history, but I'm doing this for you guys, for valuable takeaways, like I always say. So we're going to Centrelink. Important to note, we're not going to go to all the places that I had shit kicker jobs. Just a little taste. Lost the base warehouse job, went to Centrelink. Was on Centrelink for a long time. Then across the road, right there where it says Lajee's Grill, that was the entrance Fruit World. Just because I was hanging around Centrelink, I managed to get a job there. Worked there, 16-hour days. The guy thought he was Gordon Ramsay, talked to me like shit. Didn't pay me. 3 months of work, probably was owed 3.5 grand, gave me 600 bucks. And then I was back to Centrelink right here. So, in that building there, as a part of your Centrelink, you needed to look for jobs. At the start, like a Gronk, I used to pretend to look for jobs just so I could keep the money going. I used to hang around people that would do the same, and that's where I was at. Again, how embarrassing. Like, how embarrassing. But I just want to show you what my mindset was and who I was, to show you that anybody can turn their life around. But the best thing that came out of that job agency was they got me a job in the gym. I did find a clipping where I was training. I loved training. It was the one positive thing I had in my life at the time. I seen a clipping for a personal trainer, Cert 3 and 4. A lightning bolt hit my body, and I'm not trying to sound dramatic. I felt it. I was like, I need to do this. And there's actually a direct pathway to doing that. I love the gym. I love helping people. I love the way this has made me feel. I know I can do this. So that was awesome. But because of my embedded traits, it took me 2 years to do 2 courses that should have taken 6 months in total. Where are we at? We've moved up from Sydney, finished school, all my shit kicker jobs, etc. Now we're actually going to, I spoke about getting my first gig, my first job in a gym, and we're about to pass that gym now. We're about to, you know, have a quick look at it. Again, it was called Body Beat Fitness Center. First boss there was Jeff. He was a martial arts instructor. He's still there doing martial arts.
good guy. So we'll have a quick look in there. All right. So now that I've given you an insight into my upbringing and my early life, this video is called Power of the Subconscious Mind. So let's get to the value and how we can tap into that. I mentioned that the best thing I ever did for my life was sign up to the gym. So that was number one. I apply progressive overload and use a lot of the principles that you can use to better your life in all aspects. It's the best catalyst. It's why I became a personal trainer, and it's the tool I use to not only better people's physiques, improve their confidence, but better every aspect of their life. And I've transitioned to more of a life coach from that these days. The second most important thing that I did was when I met my mentor, Dan Saw, who was a personal trainer at the first gym that I trained at. He was just a very positive guy, and I was just drawn to his energy. And we just connected, and he kind of got me started on the path. Met a few people, and they told me to read my first personal development book, which was Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I don't have that book on me because I lent it out. But these were my 5 first books that I ever read, and they shaped me. Now, I don't know if these are necessarily the best books to recommend, but these 5 books shaped me. Every single book after that, I may have taken 1 or 2 takeaways away, but I already felt like I had a good foundation. So these are the books. Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. Second was Awaken the Giant Within by Anthony Robbins. I've lent that book out as well. The third book was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Great book, a lot of great takeaways. It's important to read a book with notes. As you absorb some new information, write it down, embed it. Don't just speed read books and think that you're doing something. Really try to absorb the information. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Amazing book. Communication is key in this world. We're surrounded by, I don't know what the number is, 8 billion people. It's made up of people. To get ahead and to get anywhere in life, you need to know how to communicate. I feel like this had a lot to do with me being able to communicate and further my career, to be able to talk to girls, and where, you know, I met Gemma, who is now my wife, and you know, at the gym that I just showed you as well. So that's cool. And then the Power of Now. The Power of Now, it's more of a spiritual book. This helped me with my anxiety. It told me that, you know, if you think too far in the past, puts you in a depressive state. You think too far ahead, you're in an anxious state. Just be in the moment, because the moment is all you have. It's basically just helps you feel and take away a lot of the unnecessary stress and the inner dialogue in your mind that can cause unnecessary problems, and just bring it back to the present moment. Amazing book. Helped me a lot. So, number 1, joining the gym. Number 2, personal development, whether it's reading, podcasts, seminars, whatever you like. Getting around mentors, and finding people that are doing things that you would like to do. Get around them, absorb information. Number 3, vision boards. And sitting down with a blank piece of paper and a pen. If all you have is a blank piece of paper and a pen, you can do amazing things. Just think about the life that you want, the person you want to be in, some good quality attributes that you can, I guess, I was going to say, you know, acquire, but you got to talk about as if you already have it in a present tense. I'm not going to go too much into creating, you know, the best framework, but just write down what you want. And then from that, put visuals towards it. Now, we've got lots of footage of vision boards,
and walls where I'd put everything that I'd kind of done with past, present, and future boards and kind of connected the dots and all these things. I've got videos on that, but just putting a visual towards something is very important. And fast forward to now. I have literally ticked everything that I wanted on my vision board off. In my office now, I've had vision boards ever since I've been on this path of personal development for probably the last, let's say, 10 years. 10, 11, around the time I became a personal trainer, but took it seriously after that. I've always had vision boards, and I've always had something to strive towards. I have ticked it all off, or I'm on the cusp of ticking off. So, I guess what's next? I don't want to make a vision board because I don't want to limit myself anymore. I feel like I'm only just getting started, and I don't actually want any materialistic or superficial items. I have my home, which we're a week away from paying off. I have my beautiful wife, my pooches. And obviously, you want to get to a point where you're financially free. I'd say right now we're financially secure. But I wanted to attain all the superficial kind of selfish goals to look after myself and my family. Obviously, you've seen my upbringing. And now I'm in a place where I can alleviate financial stress and pain for everyone in my life. And that's just an amazing feeling. So now I don't want, and this is an important takeaway that I wanted to touch on as well. I used to have mansions and Lamborghinis and stuff like that. I could go and buy a Lamborghini right now. To impress who? I don't care what people think about me. I don't. I know what my intentions are, and most people will resonate with that and treat me with respect, and other people will try to tear me down. I've already had that, tall poppy kind of syndrome, or whatever it's called. As soon as you start making moves, you start seeing problems, even if you try to do it the right way and not step on people's toes. It just happens. So for me, I just want to keep improving people's lives. I love this. I love doing what I do. I have an amazing team around me. And in my personal life, obviously just keep making smart investments, making sure I can create generational wealth for my family, so they don't have to go through the things that I had to go through. And it's that simple. And my short-term goals now are actually to kind of go back and alleviate some of the pain for some people in my life. I'd love to come in and solve a lot of people's problems, and that's what I want to do. So I could upgrade the house and get a bigger house. I don't care about upgrading the square in which you live. And even though I've only got a Kia Stinger, I don't care. It just gets me from A to B. I really am not drawn to those items. I'm not. So I'm in such a good place now where I can, I just feel like I'm shedding my skin. I feel like I'm shedding my skin. I went from having nothing to wanting all these things to realizing that they don't matter, and I have everything that I need, and being in a position to have a foundation to help people. So, but I didn't come this far to get this far. Now, you would know my story. I've been a PT for 12 years, and I've done it on my own. And I did the online route. I had clients in 12 different countries. I didn't really like that business model. It was very lucrative, but I didn't feel like the quality of service was there. There's something you can't replicate by having a PT session, that energy exchange where you can really lift people up. I'm so grateful now to have a team of unreal trainers. They're quickly growing into family. And this has been one of the best things I've ever done with my life. And so fast forward now, I'm going to make a video on this. So in a nutshell, PT for 12 years, Now we have a team of 4 trainers, 5 including myself. I'm a coach, I'm a head coach, I'm a life coach. We've got great trainers, 4 different facilities, 4 different locations, and we're gonna, I'll put this. It's not about explosive growth, but we're quickly growing. We have a foundation now where we're just gonna have explosive growth, and one of the goals that I had was 10,000 plus life/body transformations. I don't know how to measure that. I'd say I've got to be in the triple digits now, but or quadruple digits, you know, 1,000 plus. Gotta be. Yeah, I don't know. To conclude, if you've made it this far, thank you very much for sharing this journey with me. It means a lot to me. And I hope that you've learned some valuable takeaway lessons to apply into your life. But just remember, knowledge without application ain't shit. Please apply these takeaways to your life right now. Write them down and reach out to me. I'd love to hear your feedback. I would. Yeah. The lesson is, this is called Power of the Subconscious Mind. And the reason is, I would write down every day what I wanted, who I wanted to be, and I blocked out all the noise. And over time, that started to embed into my subconscious and change my behavior. Be careful about what you consume. Your food changes your body's chemistry. What you ingest through food, through what you watch, what you listen to, who you hang around, everything. Be very mindful of it. Create an environment for success. The people you talk to, the people you hang around, even if you're in an area where I grew up, doesn't matter. Keep to yourself. Make friends with these people, these books, and start creating a vision in your life. Start creating a vision in your mind for the life that you want, because it's not out of your reach. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, if you have made it this far, this was a long video, I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much.
Can't forget the gains, baby.